Alright, let's take a look at graphing y equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. Automatically, just by looking at the equation, I know that we're going to open down. Okay, so we should have a downward facing graph. And now we're going to label this just so we can compare it to ax squared plus bx plus c, so we can get some values for a, b, and c. And we're going to plug our b and our a into our vertex formula. So we're going to have negative something over 2 times something. So negative, we're going to plug in b. B happens to be negative 2. Okay, so we're going to plug in that negative 2. And then we're going to plug in negative 1 for a. Negative times a negative 2 is 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So 2 over negative 2, that's negative 1. So now we plug that in. Okay, so we're going to have negative times something squared minus 2 times that same something plus 3. You got to erase this mark, so it doesn't need to be there. Okay, so what are we going to plug in? Well, we said that x is equal to negative 1, so negative 1 and negative 1. So negative 1 squared is 1 times negative is a negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. So my vertex is negative 1 and 4. So now we're going to factor to find our roots. So we're going to take negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. I do not like this negative sign right there. It means I can't factor it like normal. So I'm going to greatest common factor that out. So I'm going to divide by that negative 1 out of there. So negative 1 is on the outside. I took it out. So we have negative 1 over negative 1 is positive 1, x squared. Negative 2 over negative 1 is positive 2x. And 3 over negative 1 is minus 3. Let's look at the factors of 3. So that's 1 times 3. Okay. Here, this tells me the signs need to be opposite, and the larger one is positive. So the larger one is here, it's going to be positive, and this one's going to be negative. So that's a negative 1. So I have x minus 1, x plus 3 equal it to 0. Let's take each of these factors and apply the zero product property. So I have x minus 1 equals 0, and x plus 3 equals 0. So I have x equals 1 here, and x equals negative 3 there. Let's graph now. We're going to graph negative 1 and 4, 1 and negative 3. So we have negative 1 up 4, okay, and then 1 and negative 3. Put that back up there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go drop it, make it frown down here. And there we go.